Welcome. Thank you very much for joining us here on India Revival Mission eForum presented by State Bank of India, co-powered by LIC and Punjab National Bank. I'm Hina Gambhir. Over the next 60 minutes, we are going to discuss what's happening in India's agriculture sector. Now, why is it important? Because in the middle of coronavirus pandemic, if only one sector shown positive growth in the last quarter was actually the agriculture sector. So what was the secret really, and what more can be done in this sector to make it do even better? And what are these new farm laws that the center has now passed recently? What is going to be the impact of these laws on the farmers in our country, on the agriculture sector overall? That's going to be our top focus on India Revival Mission eForum today. We have with us a panel of experts joining us who will be answering your queries as well. So if you have any questions, please be ready to put them out in the chat box, and then we will get those answered by our guests. We have with us Vijay Sardana, who is an agriculture sector expert, and he's an economist as well. We have with us Mohit Bhasin, partner KPMG in India. We have with us Binod Anand, advisor to Dhanuka Group, and also Sanjay Pal Singh, who is business head Agri-nutrients India, SABIC. Good evening.
The first thing people spend in life is on good food, good clothing, good housing, clean water, and clean air. And that is why agriculture and food sector will always remain priority for any society. And this we have seen in COVID time when everything was locked except agriculture and food supply systems. So this is extremely vital for society. It is extremely essential for employment generation in India, where 60 to 65% people live in the cities, in the villages. And at the same time, agriculture provides fundamental opportunity for rural income, rural enterprises, controls inflation so that other sectors flourish with the purchasing income of the consumers. So if I say that agriculture is a lifeline for India, it will remain. With the growing population and shrinking landmass per unit head, it is going to have much more importance in coming days. So all those people, those who are interested in making money in agriculture, or even I say that those who have looking for opportunity for investments in India, after these three regulations which government of India has passed, every village, around 650,000 villages have become investment destination for us. Every village offers opportunity. Every household is a market. Every city is a huge opportunity for retailing, infrastructure, and every opportunity. So what we have to look at is that agriculture is lifeline for India, and we should continue to focus for both economic growth and social stability in agriculture. Back to you.
Very interesting point of view shared by you, Vijay Sardana. Let me go across to Mohit Bhasin now. Mohit, now, Mr. Sardana told us that with the new farm laws that have been passed by the center, 650,000 villages in our country have become new investment destinations. But then at the same time, we have seen so many protests taking place across the country. What do you make of the concerns that the farmers who protested are raising?
Thank you, Hina, and good evening, viewers. While we have different opinions, it's a vast demography, different opinions coming from different part of the society. I mean, someone is talking about MSP or APMC and so on and so forth. But let's look at the bright side of the whole situation. As Mr. Sardana also mentioned, this is an opportunity in making. We can it's a sector which is actually getting unfolded, and we can take the best advantage of this opportunity and create more jobs. As we all know, this is the biggest job creation segment of the society. Almost more than 50% of the workforce is employed in this sector. And if we move it right, for example, few intervention, if I can suggest, let's say if we completely enable this transformation by bringing a digital element to this can transform the way the entire market can be connected. If we move from a pure play agriculture to a food processing segment, that can also transform the entire way we are creating jobs and increasing income level for the farmhood. So it's how we are looking at and how we are taking this as an opportunity in making is what is to be explored.
Okay. Okay. Binod Anand, what are your opening comments? How do you view the sector at this point in time and the challenge that it faces as we speak?
Tips are good, intents are good, but we need to have certain regulations at place. That is also true that in this country there is a huge regulatory challenges when it comes to agriculture. Agriculture, not only agriculture, but agri-business sector, but farmers at large are not enjoying the ease of doing business, and that is why they are on the road. Their product are not being sold properly, and even the kind of their organizations, what sort of organization they will create, for example cooperatives and farmers producer organization, are not in their hand what they will do. So there are certain regulatory challenges which are uh, important in the testing time. This is the time when we are thinking of getting growth back through agriculture, which is a big thing, and the result has also come like that. This is the first time that agri export graph has gone up after a long time, but the farmers are not getting the money in their pocket. So that is also another challenge. So
Hmm.
connecting those two dots are very important, that from the farm to port, the whole stakeholders, all stakeholders should be integrated in the interest of farming community. And there are various infrastructure development, market potential index, for farmers producer organization which need to be created. So all agents who are into the provisioning of technology to the farming community needs to be, relooked and need to be given a free hand. For example, in our sector, we are into the crop protection basically, and we are providing a nation, a food security. That is
Hmm.
if we would not exist, then crop security instrument and tools would not be provided to the farming community. But we do not have a system of data protection. We do not have a system where we can bring new technologies, new molecules, and give to the farmers. We are over regulated. On the other hand, even in our neighborhood, the kind of Southeast Asian nation in Pakistan, they are enjoying all the benefits. So that is why this sector is not growing. It has to be looked into a different way altogether. From where the investment will come, if we'll think of creating $5 trillion economy through agriculture. So these are the
Hmm.
few aspects which we need to look at. The farmers organization, especially the farmers producer organization, which are looked as a catalyst of change in rural economic system and the drivers of growth, need to be given good shape, good support, and all stakeholders need to be integrated in the interest of farmers if we are looking forward for a better economy.
Okay, Mr. Sanjay Pal Singh, do you think the kind of challenges that are mentioned by Mr. Binod Anand can actually be solved by the three big farm laws passed by the center?
Yes, Hina, I think all the gentlemen who have spoken before me have really touched a very important points, which are the part of this whole construct. So first of all, I would like to mention here that there is a big target which our Honorable Prime Minister has put in, is a doubling farm income. So that's a goal. Then how do we reach there? And that has to be done sustainably. It is not something to be done, you can say, on a part-time basis. Now, luckily, last 2 years have been two bumper harvest years. That's really good for Indian economy and Indian farm economy especially. Now, a country where 58% of population is directly or indirectly dependent on agriculture, this means something. Now, these landmark farm bills which have come right now, like farmer's freedom to sell. Earlier, he was able to sell only in the designated mandis through the RTS system. Now he can have his own choices. Another opportunity of contract farming, where he can have an assured farm, you can say, output prices while signing the contracts with certain parties. And last but not the least, I'm talking about essential commodity act, like onions, like potatoes. So all these things, which were anytime it used to come under essential commodity, and then storage is an issue, and then so many, you can say, things in the whole line, which was a challenge. Now I think through these farm bills that can be addressed, but it is just a beginning. I think a lot needs to be done to harvest the benefits of these, you can say, bills, and really empower the farmer in a real sense, where he's able to generate more value out of his acres. Now, there is a couple of things which need attention after these farm bills and everything is there. What has been asking for a revamp is India's supply chain, agriculture supply chain, that really needed a, you can say, a revamp for a very long time. Another is fair value of the output. Now, if you look at the gap between the farm gate prices and the consumer door prices, there's a huge gap. How it can be reduced by reducing the number of intermediaries. Looking at the complex Indian agriculture system and supply chain, some things needed to be done, some technologies, and we will be discussing, I think my friends from experts from the different industries will definitely be having ideas on that. Another part where India is really, really behind, where we need to focus, and it's a great room for improvement, is yield levels. Our farm output, except wheat and potatoes, we are nowhere close to the global averages. I'm not talking about the top level yields. I'm talking about the averages. Globally, the top yields, for example, in a horticulture, like tomatoes, they are talking about 120 tons per acre. We are talking about 35 tons per acre. We are nowhere close. So if we want to double the farm income, it has to be, you can say, addressed properly. And it is directly linked to, this output is directly linked to the input, farm inputs, the knowledge, the information, the facilities, the irrigation, genetics he's using, and extension services awareness, how he's being educated about all these new things which are even available. And last but not the least, I will be talking about crop nutrition. I think we have 70 years after independence, we have come a long way, but there is still a gap. You know, there was a scientist, Liebig, he gave a law of minimum, which said your yield per acre can never be more than the least or the minimum input you have given to the field. That means, even if we are using 2 or 3 bags of DAP, but we are forgetting some other nutrients which are bare minimum in that soil, what's going to happen? He's not going to have a higher yield. His yield can never be more than the minimum provided nutrient. So this is one part where really we need to focus a lot, educate farmer a lot, and then bring him to a level where we are at least close to the global averages. Right.
Okay. Yes.
This is what I would like to say. So I think definitely these farm bills have paved way for this kind of, you can say, reforms and transformations, which are definitely going to see that our farmers get higher yields, better outputs out of their acres.
Okay, very interesting. Mohit Bhasin, I want to now ask you, as far as these farm bills are concerned, we've talked about it way too much. There have been so many debates around it. What are the kind of 2 or 3 trends do you foresee in the near future?
So Neha, I would like to spend time in talking about 3 specific things, which is going to really change the way we operate or look at this sector. One is being India is like a tech superpower in one way. We have already done so well in the tech space, especially when it comes to software. How about we use our knowledge and expertise in the technology space and create something like an agri stack, wherein we connect all the ecosystems player together, bring them on a common platform, help them to solve the basic problem of price instability and price discovery. So using technology as very first enabler, especially the IoT applications and all that, will help us to really tackle the situation in a different way. Second, my panelists were talking about the opportunity which this sector is unfolding when it comes to investments. Now, bringing the right investment, especially in the area of cold storage, modernizing the supply chain, bringing the right nutrient to our farmers, bringing them at the effective price. So that complete element of bringing the right investments, not just any investments, and bring it to the right place is the second element. Third, how about we start looking a farmer as a partner? For example, farmer can become a channel partner in our business. Whenever any private sector or even FPOs are now getting strengthened, farmer can become a proper channel partner. It can even evolve from a stage of just a farmer to a processor, or even how about we talk about having a branded food suppliers, right? Those are the kind of 3 things I foresee will help us to unfold the entire sector as an opportunity,
Very important three issues you have raised. Let me take those across to Vijay Sardana as well. The intent is there. That's the sense I get. And most economists have also suggested that, the intent is to uplift the farming community, the annadata of our country, make him more atmanirbhar, improve his lifestyle as well. But how do we communicate this to the farmer? How do we tell the farmers, the kisan of this country, that these things can help him in this particular manner? Because a farmer goes to his field, works, comes back, and then looks forward to the harvest. And if there is heavy rain, he's disappointed if the crop gets destroyed because of heavy rain or unseasonal rain. So how do we communicate this? How do we educate the farmer?
A very important issue here. And let me give you some live examples. In last 1 week, Government of India has educated around 15 lakh farmers on one-to-one basis in different parts of India. That is when we say extension services. Today we have a DD Kisan which is reaching virtually every village of India. Today we have internet technology. Whoever is using internet-based phone or internet-connected phone, they are getting all the information. Social media is very active in discussing all dimensions of these laws. So with the advancement in technology, the access of technology, every village is approachable, reachable. The challenge was the message in a language which farmers understand. Farmers don't understand English. And that is why, if you see, even I have done 30 language films in 13 languages in last 2 weeks. You can see on Google. In every language, so that farmers understand what these laws are offering to them. That is one aspect of giving awareness and education. On the other side, I'm talking to large number of companies. All have started moving into villages because they were anyway buying raw materials. Hundreds and thousands of food companies anyway operate in this country. All have read the law. All are talking to their respective farmers in different parts of India and trying to get direct connectivity. I'm dealing virtually many with them in this part of the world. What I'm trying to say is that this is just a beginning. And in beginning itself, there is a massive awareness campaign which is going on in all forms of media channels. Now issue comes up is hand holding and give them a capacity building. And that is why the step 2 is now to tell the farmers how to negotiate, to tell the farmers how to bargain, how to become a bigger bargaining force by combining together, whether in the form of a farmer group or cooperatives or FP or whatever form way it is. Because one message which I'm telling to every farmer in all my programs, the person who makes money, every person doesn't make money in business. Please be very clear. People, those who have bargaining power, always make money. The whole approach of the law should be how to increase the bargaining power of farmers. And if we educate them and encourage them to come together, increase their bargaining power when they are talking to either trade or policymaker or wherever it is, they will be beneficiary. So we have to convey the same fundamental logic of business to farmers. We don't need a rocket science. We have to educate them fundamentals of business, basic education. What is business? Production is not business, selling is business. In selling, bargaining, you should know how to do bargaining in business to make more money, how to read the market signals, how to capitalize, when to sell, when not to sell. All these things are fundamental things which we are working now in the form of video films, in the form of, small, I will say that write-ups on social media and all those things. Farmer is an intelligent person, please understand. He is the biggest risk taker in the country at all levels. And he knows what is business. He knows what is risk. Now we have to empower them and sharpen his business skills. And I'm 100% sure down the line, 2 to 5 years, you will see we will have an entirely different rural India. And this will be much better than what was before these laws were there. So I'm
very interesting.
Very hopeful.
Okay, you're very hopeful. We are hopeful too. Binod Anand, now I want to ask you, there has been this discussion about increasing farmers' income. Now, as we just heard Mr. Vijay Sardana, he talked about, that perhaps over the next 2-3 years, we'll start seeing results of these reforms coming. But how to boost the farmer's income, because a farmer is also getting impatient. You've been giving him promises since last so many years, and he still hasn't got the results so far.
See, the farmer's income is a factor of so many aspects, so many other aspects. It is not only the agricultural income which is going to enhance or double their farmers' income, what we are talking about. That's in various parliamentary debate and at other forums also it has been brought in that we cannot just double the farmers' income or triple the farmers' income by the agriculture. Our experience of rural development is quite a different one. Suppose we can create a cluster of mentha, or it's a cluster of say banana, or a cluster of grapes. Then we are just, farmers are what? Farmers are just producing it. They are not into the part of the marketing-led extension services. They are not able to market it. So it rightly mentioned that the market is very unpredictable, and that market-led extension services we need to give to the farmers. How the price of my commodity is going to be after 3 months or 4 months or 1 year or 2 year down the line, that really matters. How long we will keep on producing wheat and paddy and this kind of crops, and the farmers would not get the money. So coming back to your question of how we will enhance the income of the farmers, it is a factor of three things basically. One, are the public sector, that's a government or else even the private one to some extent, are providing their irrigation facility or not. That's the most important component, that watershed management. Plethora of agencies which are doing it, from NABARD to Ministry of Rural Development to Water Resources to Ministry of Agriculture, and even the drip irrigation. So many agencies are trying to give water to their field, but still that's a challenge. There's in Bihar where the farms are flooded, and then in Rajasthan where it is not well managed. So water need to be managed for the farmers in a different way. That's the most important and critical one. And the second most important is the modern technology and the better inputs. How we are giving a modern technology and better inputs to the farmer. The best example in our neighborhood is China. They have less land than that of us. Their productivity is more. They have similar set of agroeconomic and agroclimatic challenges. The geography is almost similar, but they do have their farmers are having modern technology, better inputs. The kind of we are lacking in that. And third is the cost of marketing of their produce. That is a critically very important one. That farmers are wasting their too much of money in marketing of their produce. They are not, roads are not there, the storage houses are not for the farmers, assaying facility is not given to the farmers. On the contrary, NCDEX is climbing up. The commodities are trading well, the commodity traders are earning money. So it's a whole integrated channel is there when it comes to the bringing farmers double income or farmers income to be enhanced. Primarily, when we talk about by 2022 or by 2024, when we will see that India is in $5 trillion economy, and that too with the help of farmers, the bright side is that we are going to get a lot of in situ employment when it comes to the investment in agriculture. And the last point, Hina, is that if you invest 1 crore rupee in the formal sector, be it infrastructure or be it in telecom and be it wherever you want to invest, it will create 4 employment in a formal sector, only 4. But when you invest that 1 crore rupee in the farm sector, it will give you 32 employment days. This is just study of NCAER, that is National Council of Applied Economic and Research. So we need to think about the investment in agriculture, how it could be, what are the the challenges are, and we have to channelize in this way when we think about one nation, one market. Plethora of opportunity is there, so we have to change our policy planning accordingly, and the private sector has to be supported in this way, because public sector only cannot do the changes. We are working with the farmers. If we will be given the freedom of bringing technology in this country, we can have, it would be a paradigm shift.
Okay, very interesting. In fact, we have now started getting questions from our viewers as well who are watching this live right now. Let's take the first question that we've got. Ujjwal Kumar from CUTS International. He's a policy analyst and he has asked, let me take that question across to Sanjay Pal Singh. And if other guests also want to answer, then of course they can raise their hand and I'll come to them. So Ujjwal Kumar has asked Mr. Sanjay that why is it being said that MSP cannot be enforced against private buyers? Why so? If minimum wages can be enforced, why not MSP?
I am fully aligned with your thought on this. Definitely, there has to be, initially that has to be done for a couple of years till the time the farmer stands on his feet firm like a businessman. So there has to be an intervention of the government to really ensure that this transition is smooth and sustainable. So I believe it can very well be done because it's not just about agriculture. There are many things where government intervention is required. And across the world, it's not just about India. Across the world, across developed and developing economies, governments try to support their sectors through this kind of, you can say, support, where they want to strengthen their, you can say, core sectors. For India, agriculture is very, very important.
Okay, I think Mr. Vijay Sardana also wants to respond to this question. Yes, Mr. Sardana, go ahead.
It's a very dangerous proposal. Let me put very bluntly here. When you are making anything MSP mandatory without ensuring quality norms, nobody will buy your crop. So those who are advocating mandatory MSP, they have to first decide what should be the quality norm. Please understand, 80 to 85% crop which comes at the time of harvesting is not meeting the quality norm because of natural reasons. Either there is a high moisture, or when the harvesting takes place, there is a lot of extraneous material, leaves, stems, other things happens. You have to prepare the material for the purchase. And that is one aspect, number one. Number two, who is going to pay you MSP if the quality is not acceptable? Number three, if you make it mandatory, agriculture system is not a factory operation. Every product, every grain, every fruit which is coming out of the tree is not uniform. So you have to grade A, B, C, D, and something are not even acceptable in the market. So you will be able to sell A. What will happen to B, C, D grade? Who will buy that material and at what price? So 80% of material will remain unsold. Will it help the farmer or it will damage the farmer? We have to think through. Moreover,
very important. Yes.
Moreover, the way we are trying to push MSP every year, today, most of the MSPs in India are far above than the international prices. Think of as a trader, I'm a businessman. Today, maize is available in world market at 12 rupees. Your MSP is 1850. Even if you charge me 30, 40, 50% custom duty, imported raw material is cheaper than what is produced by the farmer at MSP. Think very carefully what we are recommending. I will, as a businessman, will not buy from farmer, I will import. You can't force me to buy from the farmer, where farmer will sell. So my recommendation is from this forum is the life of MSP as a policy is expired. You have to find alternate methods how to compensate farmer for their efforts. One is productivity. Second is quality. In the same unit area, if farmer is going to increase the yield, he will make more money. We have to come out with methods how to reduce the cost of production so that per unit area his income goes up. The concept of commodity-based, quantity-based pricing is bad concept in all economic sense. It has to be based on unit area quantity. What should be the income per acre or per hectare, not per ton or per kg. So we have to change the parameter of pricing and we have to bring quality into a concept so that consumer can command premium. It needs a serious discussion, serious debate. Let us not spread a message where there is no scientific justification.
Well, absolutely. An informed debate is something that's the need of the hour on the issue of MSP as well. Need to weigh both the pros as well as cons. I think Mr. Binod Anand also wants to make a point on this. 10 seconds to you, then I'll go across to the next question. Yes, Mr.
Well,
Anand.
it's very interesting question. Only 6% of farmers were getting MSP, where the rest of 94% were going on earlier. It was to the private sector only since ages. Since last almost 70 years, it was a 94% of the produce was purchased by the private markets. Only 6% were getting. And mind you, Ministry of Consumer Affairs and Public Distribution budget is the third largest one. It's a third largest one, 1,80,000 crore rupees budget. That to the NAFED and through FCI they purchase. Only 6%. So the MSP is a different one. That's a market support system. We should not think it about to the farming community rather. So
Okay.
that's what my answer is.
Okay, let's take another question that we've got from one of our viewers, Hariharan PV. Let me take that question to Mohit Bhasin. Hariharan PV from Agrobiogenics Technology, he's the chief promoter and mentor. He has asked, it is estimated that total market values of agriculture produce are 26 trillion rupees to 28 trillion rupees, but the take-home values for the 195 million farmer families are less than 6 trillion. How can this be at least doubled to begin with and later enhanced further?
Okay, so let me bring two different dimensions to the discussion. I will invite my co-panelists to also come in. We also have to look at the complete new element of food processing. Currently, our level of food processing is abysmal. I mean, it's less than 10% as compared to the global level. Now, one element we need to focus is across the value chain of our produce. How are we helping our farmers to move from just a producer to a processor and then give at least a semi-processed output, if not a finished product, right? That is another line of thinking we need to embed into the whole process. Second, if I also look at the element of export, while I was analyzing the data, if I only look at the agriculture-based export, we are hovering around 16.3 billion or 16.4 billion for last 3 years. Practically, we are constant. If I add some more processed food to this, the number is 34 billion around. So it's practically constant. Why our exports are not growing at the way we are expecting, and at the same time, we all know that government of India is promoting exports, which is a very, very critical factor. Why our exports are not growing? Because we are quite heavy when it comes to raw exports. We are nowhere even to the level of semi-processed product, or forget the case of the finished food, processed food proper, right? So the moment we move to a different dimension of processing of the raw produce, we have another dimension of income level getting added to the farmer. Hence, export can also become, and we can also become our captive user. We have a large user base who can consume these products.
So food processing is another aspect that the government should really focus on. Mr. Sanjay also wants to make a quick point. Yes, sir, 10 seconds only, because too many questions have now started coming.
So as very well said by Mr. Sardana, that's also the point. Quality is something which is going to ensure the exportability. So, and quality is directly related to the inputs and the extension services which are going to be provided to the farmer to enhance his quality, not just the yield, but also the quality of produce. Without that, I think this thing is again going to go in circle.
Okay. Okay. Another question has come. Let me take that question to Mr. Binod Anand. Again, if somebody else also wants to respond, can just raise the hand and then I'll come. Mr. Milan Mehta, Indian Neem Tree Company, has asked, what is your view if millets are introduced in public distribution system and midday meals so that farmers' income also increases and Indian population is nutrient self-sufficient?
It's a wonderful idea, and actually the government of Odisha have already done it. And government of Odisha, that's already have introduced in this system. And even bringing you back in Rajasthan, they have introduced honey in the midday meal scheme. So this kind of ideas are always welcome, and it would not only the enhance income of the farming community, but the only thing, Hina, is that the farmers should get benefit. I will give you a very quick example for the benefit of everyone and for the benefit of the country and through this India Revival Mission platform. In Sardar Takhat, that is in Amritsar, where everyone knows that lakhs of people eat food daily. the farmers cannot sell pulses to them. It is being procured by SGPC from Delhi market, Delhi Mandi, Azadpur Mandi. I'm sorry, this Sadar Bazaar Mandi. And there are panel, there are traders who are panel. How come that Punjab is the one of the producer of pulses, the farmers cannot sell to the SGPC Gurdwara? So this is one thing. So if the millet will be introduced, well and good, very good. This idea is perfectly fine. But will the farmers get the benefit? That is the question. So in the supply chain, there has to be innovation. This is what my answer to this question. Thank you very much for bringing this point.
Okay. Milan Mehta, in fact, has asked another question. Let me take that across to Mr. Vijay Sardana. So Milan Mehta has asked, don't you think we should turn farmers into water-guzzling crops? We should turn farmers from water-guzzling crops like rice and sugarcane to other crops which require less water, which can serve so many purposes.
Very important issue. Let me say a very simple thing. Money makes the mayor go, not the policy.
True.
You give more money to less water guzzling crop, farmer will grow that. Farmer is not loyalty to maize or sugarcane or rice or paddy or whatever you call it. He is a businessman. He needs money. One my point with Mr. Mehta has raised a very important issue of millets. Let me put very openly to you. Ignorant consumers prefer wheat and rice over millet. Millet is more nutritious, good for health. Those who claim that they are healthy and they ignore millet and eat wheat and rice, they are not sure whether they are really health conscious or not. Because if you are health conscious, millet should be your priority, not wheat and rice. And this is an ignorance of a urban India. We assume that consumer is aware. No, consumer is highly ignorant what they are eating. So one side, when we are running a campaign on farmers' education, we should also run a campaign for so-called educated urban consumers that what is good for health. Millet is far better than wheat and rice. Minute the consumers will start learning this basic fundamental nutritional fact, millet prices will start shooting up, farmer will move away from paddy to millet, and that is what Mehtaji is saying. So my request to all the audience is start educating your friends what is good food.
Interesting. Let's take another question. Rahul Sharma from The Perspective has asked this question. He's the founder. Let me take that across to Mohit Bhasin. Mohit, now he has asked, why isn't government reducing taxes on machineries, tools, and cold storage for agriculture?
In fact, if we closely study the Atmanirbhar Abhiyan program, it talks about two specific elements. One is around the localization of entire indigenous or the indigenous manufacturing is what we call it as. And second element around Atmanirbhar is integration in the global supply chain. Now, under these two initiatives, there have been product segments which have been identified, which also has ready-to-eat products, agro clusters, and so on and so forth. There is a discussion going on for us to also make us self-sustainable when it comes to machinery manufacturing. To the best of my knowledge, government is working extensively towards reducing the cost and also manufacturing these machineries in India under the Atmanirbhar, which will eventually be the bedrock for us to move from a normal to a mechanized farming or from a normal to a processed food. So it's happening as we speak. I think the ball started rolling and we will see a lot more happening in the days to come.
Okay.
Also, there are some subsidies and kind of, you can say, support systems run by National Horticulture Board and state machineries, state governments for farmers to support them for putting up cold storages and machineries and everything with the financial support and all. So I think, yes, there are a lot of things time to time keep on happening on this front, even for machineries.
Okay, let's take another question and let's take that question with Mr. Sanjay. Mr. Bhavin Patel from Silver Agro Products, he's the managing director. He has asked, why are pesticide companies not cutting down the pesticide prices?
See, everybody has got their own, you can say, financial reasons to do that, because I'm not trying to advocate a pesticide industry or not trying to see, I'm talking from a neutral perspective, because for one molecule to come out, some 60,000-70,000 molecules are to be tested for multiple years, and there's a lot of cost going behind. all these things. So once a company brings with a molecule, it is, as far as my knowledge is there, for 5 years, they can keep it at a, you can say, price to recover all those research costs and everything. And then it becomes a generic. Once it becomes generic, after 5 years, I think the prices really come down and farmer gets a lot of options to buy even a cheaper formulation of the same product. Mr. Anand, am I right?
Okay,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
Mr. Binod Anand also wants to respond. Yes.
Hina, I have never come across a single farmer in this country so far in my this much of 25 years of working with farmers, where farmers have asked the cheap product. They want better product. They want quality product. They want innovative product. So this is a wrong, expectations from the even industry that
Hmm.
pesticide prices or seed prices or any agro input prices should reduce. Even they will pay the premium price, but they want the better product. We are one of the top 5 farms of the country, and we can say with all our experience what we have. The challenge is that 18% GST on pesticide. Why so? We do not understand this. Why 18% GST on pesticide? So this what the government have to think. Why not data protection clause is included in pesticide management bill of this country? We are revising it. 1968 was the Insecticide Act. Now in PMBE, you are not having, there is no clause of data protection. How the best molecule, better molecules, and better product will come into the country. This is the challenge. Farmers want a right to better technology, right of quality agro input. They don't want cheap price.
Okay. I also want to focus. I know Mr. Vijay Sardana also wants to respond, but I also want to focus on the issue of exports now. And let's begin with Mr. Mohit Bhasin. Then I'll give time to Mr. Vijay Sardana. Mr. Mohit Bhasin, now India has been a leader in terms of production from the agriculture sector for several years now, but still our share of exports is quite low. How do you think we can boost the share of exports of our agricultural produce?
A very important point, Neha, and I was just alluding to this in my previous comment also. Where we are strong or we are focusing is in simple agri-produce to be exported to the overseas market, whereas the international market is expecting us to send processed food, if not at least the semi-processed food. So what we are missing is in the complete segment, so-called the value-added segment is where we really need to play more actively. Second, the quality of produce. Lately, I have seen companies becoming more and more global when it comes to the global supply chain and exporting. So as government, we also need to focus and create more mechanism, and most importantly, create a hand-holding mechanism to the farmers and also to the companies who are processing these produce, where to export, how to export, whom to export. So these kind of very basic hand-holding guidance is required. Third, when we are focusing on export, there is a very difficult aspect about the credit, about the payment, about an unknown buyer whom a normal farmer may not be aware about, right? So that entire mechanism or a system still needs to be set up in the country wherein export in the agri or the processed food is inculcated as a mainstream agenda of the work.
Okay. Mr. Vijay Sardana, what is your point of view on the issue of export specifically?
See, it's a very important aspect. The problem in 3 aspects which you earlier discussed: exports and the machines. The problem is lack of innovation in India. How many IITs are working on food machine design? Who is designing machine in India? No one. Most of the food machines are actually a copied of imported machines. There is no research happening. There is no R&D happening. And that is why even till date, the most common product in India, which is mango pickle, you don't have a machine to cut mangoes. Do you know this? This is the tragedy, that we don't have innovations in this country. And that is why we have to depend on imported machines for large scale, and small scale machines are badly designed, which is leading to too much energy consumption or too much wastage, and which is creating problem for the small scale food industries. So that is where it is important that we should focus on research and innovation on food technologies and food machines. Number two, you mentioned about exports. What we are doing in the name of export is converting one commodity into another commodity. We are taking tomatoes and converting into paste, which is another set of commodity. So I think this is important for us, is that get out of commodity mindset. What we have to do, India is fortunately having one of the most diversified traditional food knowledge base. I'm asking you one simple point. You all are enjoying tomato soup. Rasam is far better clear soup than any soup available in the world. Why we have not promoted rasam as an alternate to soup? So tell me this. We are unfortunately blocked with the westernized concepts. We don't look into the traditional wealth and knowledge base which we have in this country. Every region, every state can give you $5 to $10 billion worth export potential of traditional foods, provided we manufacture them hygienically, pack them the way Western market needs it, ensure all the quality norms, develop the taste, reduce the spices, add what market is looking at it, and we have huge range of product portfolio available in the country. But how many institutes are working on traditional food research? Zero. We all are copying Western concepts, making, you look into the research papers. We are working on tomato ketchup, we are working on butter, we are working on cheese. How many research papers are there on rasam? How many research papers are there on biryani? How many research papers are there on bisibeli bhat? How many research papers are there on Indian mithais? Hardly any. This shows that our research capabilities, our R&D centers, a mandate must be changed. They all are not doing what they should do. So it is high time, when we are making agriculture reforms, we should also reform the mandate of R&D centers in India and make them accountable if they want taxpayers' money to fund these R&D activities.
Okay. Mr. Binod Anand, do you think now with Prime Minister Modi's push for Atmanirbhar Bharat, what Mr. Vijay Sardana is talking about can actually become a reality?
That's the one part. See, we are 140 crore, people. So we are a big market. Even though, to talk about the export market, what are the challenges? See, if I want to export, I am a padha likha kisan and I have some kisaniyat and I want to get connected with the international market. Give me 10 buyers, 10 name of the buyers from Middle East. There is no website which is available. APEDA has not made it available for the general man. For the FPOs, even on the FPO Connect, it is not available. So there is a very less, amount of knowledge which is required. That extensive knowledge is not there. Still, we only know that from our country, Pusai 1121 and 1509 is being exported. Actually, that's not the truth. Jasmine rice is in more demand, or whatever the rice which we are not producing is more in demand in Vietnam and the Southeast Asia and the Middle East. Even to some extent, say vegetables and floriculture, this kind of things, we are importing, the flowers. 80% of the flowers which we are consuming here in our country is being imported. This is a different, challenge altogether. So Atmanirbhar Bharat is a big dream and we all have to fulfill it. We are with government. This is our dream. This is a dream of 140 crore people. This is a dream of 14 crore farmers. But thing is that for that, we need to create a support system. We need to create a system where ISMA should get, that knowledge get transferred to the sugar farmers, where the All India Rice Exporter Association should transfer that list and those demands and those knowledge, who are the buyer list, what are their demands, their grades, quality to the farming community. We are still, we are still grappling with the non-tariff barriers. Even the European Union, whatever they want, they will buy. If they would not buy, they would not buy. For example, I will give you a very good example. We are exporting the similar rice, to the Middle East, and that Middle East country are doing nothing. They are just repackaging it and selling it and marketing it to the Europe and US. That's a true fact. There is no MRL level for the Middle East countries. So it is also how much strong diplomatic relationship and business relationship you have on the international platform. It's all international politics. It is not only the connecting these dots. So we have to be very firm. We have to be very strong at international forums, and we need to create a system where the farmers will get knowledge about what to export, how to export, and that connectivity. Even in Indian Institute of Foreign Trade do not have any certificate course on agriculture export facilities. They do have a certificate course on an agriculture. They do not have. None of the institution in our country is creating a separate course for agri export commodities. So this is the challenge. If we will meet these line and field staff challenges, line and field problems, then we can come out with this mechanism.
Okay. Mr. Vijay Sardana, I have a question as well that has been sent by one of our viewers, Mukesh from Avarta Strategy Private Limited. He asks, do you think it is time now that all agriculture universities are required to play a more vital role and a visible role to level up Indian agriculture sector and the life of the farmers?
Absolutely. I think it's a very valid point. After all, somebody has to provide the knowledge. Farmer is not doing research. Farmer is a producer. Industry is not doing research. They are converting commodity into products with the help of knowledge and money and their skills. So somebody has to do it. And that is what the secret of China's success. We all talk about China, but how China has created, fantastic institutional infrastructure, we don't study that. Every SME segment, every small and medium company in China has to register with some university for technology transfer. There is a regular meeting between university and industry. University creates new designs. They give it to the small scale industry. They multiply that in their factories and then they export. That's the way one has to look at it. In India, minute you talk to universities, why don't you help the industry? They come with a very lame excuse. Our job is to teach. Teach what? Just to create unemployed youth in this country. Why they are not using knowledge as a wealth creator component? They should be the richest organization in the country because they should be innovating the most. They should be extracting maximum royalty from their research. But they all depend on taxpayers' money for their survival. What more sad part can be in a 21st century when we say knowledge is power and all knowledge-based institutions like universities depend on taxpayers' money for survival? I think this is high time. We should change the mindset of university managers, vice chancellors, and a whole lot of people. Recruitment process, who should become vice chancellor, who should lead the research, what should be the role of farmer organization, what should be the role of industry bodies in research, all needs to be re-looked at it if we want India to become a developed economy and 5 trillion economy. The way system is happening today, it will not happen. As industry, I will go to international market, I will go to China, I'll go to Japan, I'll go to Korea, I'll go to Israel and buy technology from there instead of depending on my university. What can be more shameful? That for my domestic manufacturing, I need an international technology when I have hundreds of universities in India. I think it is high time we should look at it.
Mr. Sanjay, will you like to also take up this question?
Absolutely. I think this is a key question which needs to be addressed, and for many years it's still pending. We see the debates happening on that. See, our own people, they graduate from here, they go outside and then they do their research work in the universities which are in the foreign land. Why? You see so many patents which are going to those universities and those Indian researchers working in those universities. So rightly said by Mr. Sardana, universities have to really play a very important role. Second thing, the extension. We have so many universities, we have so many graduates and postgraduates which are coming out. And we have identified this gap of the extension services, the knowledge imparting to the farmers, the growers. Like for doctors, in some states, they say that you have to go to rural area to practice for so many years, then only you will get your MBBS degree. Why not? It happens with the agriculture universities. you have to go and give your extension program for 2 years or 3 years, then you get your degrees. So we need people, we need this kind of, you can say, interventions, and definitely a very important and a very big role can be played by our universities.
Okay. Let me another question that we've got to Mohit Bhasin. This is from Sridhar Chaudhary from Vinayak Agritech. Today, organic farming is a new way of farming. How can we take it forward in our country? How can we increase the productivity?
So when it comes to organic farming, we have to bring this like a proper mainstream agenda as a part of our economy, not just like a statement wherein I would prefer to have an organic food. Now, given the kind of focus we have put in, especially these, there are certain belts in the Northeast region which are quite prevalent and quite positive when it comes to organic farming. So what we need is a proper structured approach towards this, bring this like a proper mainstream agenda when it comes to agriculture. Then I think we'll be in a position to do justice. And this is the new norm we have to follow. I mean, for how long can we keep feeding pesticides and growing it through a different channels? So it needs a special and dedicated approach, in my view.
Okay, Mr. Binod Anand, will you like to address this issue of organic farming as well?
See, it is a scalability and the economics which works. Are we ready to pay the price of the deficit in production? No. So we want organic produce, but where the farmers will not use any one of the agrochemicals or anything. But we are not ready to pay the premium price. So that is a concern. If there is a market for that, number one. Number two, the kind of game is being played on the name of organic market in the country, especially in the sector of few biopesticide companies, fly-by-night operators, that requires some certain regulatory changes. On the name of biopesticide, they are selling the agrochemical mixed product and fooling farmers. Third challenge is certification. Who will certify it? A gang of people with certain agenda. So that these are the few aspects. If there is an organic, then what is this world is inorganic? That I don't understand. Everything in this world is organic. Everything has carbon. So that even natural farming is one of the way that we can say. There is no organic produce. We can say the natural produce is there. So the whole policy need to be relooked, and the kind of the talk which is going on by certain like Mr. Subhash Palekar, he claims that you do organic farming and something iota something different will be happen, eureka will be happen. That's not possible at all. So let us not make farmers fool. They are not fool. That is why it is not coming up after too much of effort.
Okay. I think Mr. Vijay Sardana also wants to make a point on the issue of organic farming. Yes.
As a consumer, my biggest problem is how to differentiate between organic and conventionally produced product in the consumer shelf. I have seen many people in the name of organic selling what is sold in the open mandi. They simply put the label and say this is organic. Unless there is a proper traceability and detection method, I will say that organic is always a risk for a consumer. So you are promoting organic. There may be certain section of consumers, they love to have different, fancy concepts in life. They are entitled to do that. But point is, how you will ensure when I'm going to market and buying this is organic or this is conventionally produced crop? Is there any method to do it? I have not seen anyone. In fact, I have seen even some of the very prestigious stores. When I ask the retailer, the boy on the shelf, कि organic का tray खाली है, please ensure the refilling. He picked up the material from lower end and put it into the organic tray. And says now it has become organic. If this is the way even big supermarkets are operating, the prestigious supermarkets are operating, why should waste my money in the name of organic as a consumer? This is my question.
Let's also now take the closing comments. Let's begin with Mr. Binod Anand.
It's a dream of all of us, what the PM is thinking about. Very good reforms have come up, but we need to set up a system with the help of which we can create an index for farmers, where the market potential index of FPO can be talked about. Great hopes with the farmers producer organization, but where are the capacity development steps which being taken? The implementing agency, for example, there are only 4 implementing agencies so far we have. and everything is dark. So those support system we must have first. Second, what we require is the agri sector and agri business need to be supported in a different way altogether. I can go on with our sector. That's the quality agro input what we work on. There is absolute paradigm shift needs to be it's very much required in our this regulatory system. Still we are sleeping on the under the banyan tree, and we haven't opened our eyes. So that's the second thing. And third thing, there has to be a targeted communication to those negative people who think that this is not possible. So with these three things I will put up my remarks.
Mr. Mohit Bhasin.
So I would like to just conclude by saying that this is a big opportunity in making. If we put the right implementation plan enabled by technology, and most importantly, keeping farmer in the middle, I think we can really do wonders.
Mr. Sanjay Pal Singh.
Yes, so I think these are literally landmark reforms which are coming, but needs a lot of attention and care, because transition has to happen in a very smooth manner. Because just having these bills is not going to support, but then the actions and activities after these bills. For example, now we are talking about not only the output, farm output, we are also talking about farm inputs. So both things have to be balanced so that our farmers are able to produce quality product at a very good yield level, so that he's able to compete not only in India, but in a global markets as far as quality and prices are concerned. And he's not dependent upon, in a longer term, he's not dependent upon MSPs or anything. He becomes an independent guy who is able to produce and sell profitably. And we don't see that exodus from villages to cities. People are happy doing their farming. That would be the ideal situation.
Okay, Mr. Vijay Sardana.
My way of looking at it is that India is on a turning point. After these three laws, these are the biggest reform in post-independence India, or I would say independent India. Three action points which we have to look at is, one is organization buildings at farmer level, capacity building throughout value chain. Don't think that even your entrepreneur is competent. No, they also need capacity building. Managers need capacity building. Supervisors need capacity building. We don't have manpower in this country to deliver world-class product. Third is infrastructure, because we need some infrastructure to support all these investments and activities. What is lacking in this country is innovation. Without innovation, business as usual, there is no future. And the problem is not resources. The problem is mindset. Those entrepreneurs and people have a positive mindset, and those who want to deliver, they will be winner. And those who are only looking for excuses and justifications will be laggards. So problem is mindset, not the resources. India is world's biggest consumer market, and it will remain. The world is coming to India because they all see opportunity here, and we can't see our own opportunities. What can be bigger tragedy? Thank you.
Okay. Thank you very much, gentlemen. I think it was wonderful to have you all on this India Revival Mission eForum. And we got a lot of interesting ideas for the farmers, for the farming community, how their life can become better. And for our viewers as well, thank you very much for joining us, for sending in your questions. And we really hope you got all the answers that you were looking forward to. And there's also another important task for our viewers. There is a feedback form on the left side of the screen. So before you log out, I request you to fill that. And of course, that will help us improve in terms of giving you much better discussions on issues that you will like us to discuss. Thank you very much, gentlemen. And thank you very much, all of you, for joining us today.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thanks, Anu.
Thank you.